Google Analytics. I want to show you where in Google Analytics you should be looking to gauge the success of search engine optimization. We're going to use the context of SEO to dictate what we look at. On the left, when you log into Google Analytics, there is a wealth of options that you could choose from. The one that we live in as SEO practitioners really is this landing page report. So you'll need to toggle behavior, site content, and one mistake that I see quite often is having the all pages option selected. That will not show you how people entered the website, which is really the point of search engine optimization. We want to get people to click on our result. So what we need to be looking at is the landing pages report. So remember to do that as your first step. Once you get to that landing page report, it's going to look a little something like this. And I want to show you how we can tune this report so that it highlights the organic improvement. So the first thing to note up in the left is this blue circle. It says all users. This is going to be traffic from all users. So we need to modify this to highlight organic traffic. So to do that, you just click on the add segment hoop, which is just there. And there are some pre-built in segments. So on the left there, we can click system and go down to organic traffic. So you can turn that on and you can have multiple segments turned on at once. So this now is segmented for organic traffic, which made up, I think that says 25% of the traffic. And the all users segment is still on, which plots that nice couple of lines for us. Now, taking it a step further, we might want to filter that organic traffic line a little bit more to give us a true representation of how the SEO is benefiting the business. So for most businesses, the services pages are the ones that do the selling. Sometimes you can create really salesy blog articles. So this isn't a hard and fast rule. This is a rule that will have to be applied with some consideration. But for most businesses, I find that the services pages are the ones that do the selling. So we want to isolate the services pages and exclude some of the noise. So I call the blogs perhaps the noise, and we can click on this advanced link here, which will let us choose some filters. So we have excluded landing pages containing blog, and that will give you a line without the blog pages in it that is organic. But going a step further, we sometimes deal with customers that do a lot of radio or print or TV, and we don't want to claim the result of that publicity as the effect of SEO. And that's something that we don't want to claim, and it's something our customers definitely don't want us to claim. We look very silly if we walk in there and say, oh, the SEO made it increase 200, and they're like, no, we just spent $1 million on radio this morning. So you've got to be careful about that. And I found the best way to filter out the effect of that is generally to remove the home page from this blue line. So we've already removed the blog. The next thing we want to do is add another line to this filter, and it says include, but it should say exclude. Exclude landing page exactly matching. And I've entered a slash here because, as you'll see on this report, that is obviously, to me, the homepage it gets the most traffic, which is completely normal. The homepage would get the most traffic, and Google has identified the homepage with a slash. So we've put that slash into this box, and rather than say containing, because containing would eliminate all of these line items from the report because they all have slashes in them, we've said exactly matching. Now we've got a filter that gets rid of the blog pages that bring noise into the report, and also the blog pages might rank very well internationally, which is not going to help a business that sells locally. So I've removed the noisy blog pages from the report, and I've removed the homepage to show a new organic line that is reflective of how the more salesy service pages are performing. The next thing I would do to gauge how this is performing is I'd try and flatten that line out a bit. It's a bit hard to see whether we're winning or losing on there. So there's this option here to toggle day, week, month. And now I've pushed the week button, and we can see the trend. And SEO happens over a long time scale. So this is useful. At the moment, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish months on the graph, and it's appropriate that we use the week. If we made this date range longer, you may even decide to put it in the monthly view to really visualize that trend and see if you're winning. We can see that in this last 4 weeks here, there was a lift. And a little tip for you guys is never pay attention to that last data point, because that's an incomplete week. So that's why that's down. But this previous data point was a complete week, and that definitely does show a dip for this customer. So once we've got the data nicely segmented and filtered, it's time to take a look at what pages were the entrances, because remember, we're on the landing page report for search engine optimized generated organic traffic. So there would be a couple of pages down here of landing pages listed in order of sessions, and we want to see where there might be some opportunity. So on the next slide, we're going to set a comparison period and see if we're doing better or worse than last year. So you click this date range here at the top, set it to compare, and change that to previous year. And now we can see that we're actually doing quite a bit worse with this analytics account. So a 67% decrease for organic traffic with that segment. So the services pages which do the selling are 67% down. So let's find out why that's down, and then we can implement some changes to the website to recover that traffic. Scrolling down the list of landing pages, we got to number 10, and we can see in this example that a year ago, there was a page called Services that had 1,624 people enter the website and land on that page from its organic listing, where in this period, it only had 31. So I would suspect that perhaps that page no longer exists, and what was there before was some great content that Google liked. So we would then explore that and put that page back. The other reports that I like in Google Analytics can be found under the Audience tab, and it's down the bottom, User Flow. And you can use organic segments on this as well. Sometimes there is a bit of difference between how the organic traffic travels compared to traffic which you might be able to control and point at a specific page to force people to start their user journey at a certain spot. The organic, you've got a little bit less control over how they're entering, but this lets you visualize what page they started on and what page they moved to. So in terms of optimizing the user journey, you would follow the flow of traffic and put your efforts into making the next page down the line a better page. So I really like that. It's a cool report, and customers dig that. The other place that you're going to be living in a day-to-day working environment is the conversions report. So on the left there, conversions, goals, overview. And you can add as many segments as you like to this to get to the guts of what channel you're using is generating the goals. So in this example, paid traffic 39, organic 22. So we see the organic is a major part of their goals, but not the lion's share. That was actually coming from, that's all users and referring traffic. So that'll be interesting to explore, but we are not doing that in this session. This is the last tip that I've got for you on Google Analytics, and this is a pro tip, but it really should be something that you master because it's super important. When you go to the segments option, there were the little hoops at the top, it's possible not only to use a predefined segment such as organic, but you can create your own advanced segment, and it's very configurable. The most often used advanced segment that I set up is to isolate Australian traffic, which is organic. I haven't found any other way to get that on a report, so this is why you need to master the advanced segment. And why that's important is most Aussie businesses can't sell to people in other countries, so it's really only relevant to them how an SEO company has improved the Australian traffic. So jump into advanced segments, and the first thing that you need to configure is the demographics, and down the bottom, this location option, set it to countries containing Australia, and there's a name that you need to give the segment as well. I've called it Australia Organic. And the next step is to configure the medium. So we've isolated Australian traffic, but now we need to choose the traffic source. So down there on traffic sources, we've got medium, contains, organic, and you get this lovely little preview that lets you know that those settings that you're choosing is having an effect on the data. And we can see confirmation there that we've got demographics, Australia, and organic. And then applying that, we can see this comparison between the org traffic segment that was predefined, pre-built into the system, versus our new segment here. So a bit of a difference, not a major difference. If this company had written a lot of blog articles that were tracking well internationally, this difference might be even greater. But it's a difference nonetheless. So that's a pro tip that I think makes the truth really more clear, and I recommend that you guys get used to using that, because as you see, when you know where to click and what to set, it was only just a couple of clicks away from your fingertips. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed those tips. If there are any questions, V?
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Scott. That was a wonderful presentation. And what I love about your presentations is that there's always something new that I learn myself. So